The series that made the channel famous. Yes, the Premier League is back tonight, which means Premier League predictions are starting once again. If that's not worth a like on the video alone, then I don't know what is. We're not going to be slow about this. We're going to get straight into it. We're going to do a quick rundown of the series format for anyone that is new around here, and then we're just going to get straight into those predictions. So, here's how we do it. Say, for example, that you are going to do a prediction for the Manchester United-Liverpool game in a couple of weeks' time. That means that if you go for the 4-0 prediction that it was a few weeks ago in the pre-season game, then that means that if it is any other result, i.e. a Liverpool win or a draw, that is going to score you a total of 0 points. If, however, it is a Manchester United win of any other scoreline, that means it is going to be 1 point for you. But if it is indeed a 4-0 win, once again, that is going to score you the maximum total of 3 points. If you want any validity to my prediction skills, here was my prediction for the opening game of the season, Manchester City and Liverpool in the Community Shield, and of course it was 3-1 to Liverpool. So sadly for me, no points on the line for that one, but a perfect start to the prediction series for this year in that game. We are not going to waste any more time. We are just going to get straight into the action, starting with tonight's game in Game Week 1, which is, of course, Crystal Palace and Arsenal. Now, Arsenal have probably had the best pre-season of any team in the league this season. They've scored the most goals, they've signed the most players, have looked really, really exciting. So, it would be just classic Arsenal for them to lose to Crystal Palace tonight. I don't see that happening, to be honest. I'm going to go for a 3-1 win to Arsenal in that one there. I think they've, like I said, they've looked so good in pre-season, and Crystal Palace's pre-season has been very odd. They sort of split their team in half. Half went on tour, half stayed behind. They've only really had a whole week together, and I think this game is going to come too soon for them to do anything to Arsenal this evening. On to the Saturday lunchtime game, the first Saturday lunchtime of the season. Newly promoted Fulham coming up against Liverpool. The, I believe, third season in a row, Liverpool are facing a newly promoted team. And I'm going to go for the same outcome that it has been on the previous two occasions, which is a Liverpool win where they score an awful lot of goals. I'm going to go for 4-0 in this one. I'd like to think Fulham will show some resistance, but I can't see it happening this early on. On to the 3 o'clock kickoffs. We start with Bournemouth and Aston Villa, another of the newly promoted teams. I think Aston Villa will be too much for Bournemouth. I don't think Bournemouth have done enough yet to really do anything in the league this season. You'd have seen in my league prediction, I've done them to finish bottom. And I think they're going to start with a 3-1 defeat at home to Aston Villa, who have made some very good signings of their own. On to Leeds against Wolves, and the first proper really tough one in my opinion. Leeds have made some decent signings, but have lost 2 key players. Wolves have not really done an awful lot. They've signed Collins from Burnley, and it looks like Adama Traore may be back. In what capacity, we don't know. I don't see this one being one side or the other, so I'm just going to go for a 1-1 draw, and we will see what happens there. On to the final promoted team. It is Nottingham Forest. They start away at Newcastle. Newcastle, of course, ending the season really well and making some, but not as many, big name signings as I would have expected. I still think it is going to be enough for them to get the job done tomorrow. I am going to go for a 2-0 Newcastle win. Then, the last of the 3 o'clock games, we have Southampton travelling to White Hart Lane, a ground that they did win at last season. I spoke about that in the fantasy football video. However, I just think with the signings Spurs have made, with Antonio Conte now at the helm in full capacity, full pre-season under their belts, I think this is going to be a really, really good start for Spurs, an opportunity to really lay down a marker to the likes of Liverpool and Man City. I'm actually going to go for a 5-0 Tottenham win, which, when you see the end of these predictions, would see Tottenham top at the end of the first week. Finally, on Saturday, we have Everton at Chelsea, at home to Chelsea, should I say. I could see this one being a potential banana skin for Chelsea, but it now looks like Everton aren't going to have any strikers. Obviously, Richarlison sold, Calvert-Lewin is now injured, and Rondon is still suspended from getting sent off at the end of last season. Therefore, I don't really see Everton putting a scratch on Chelsea in this game. I'm going to go for 2-0. I still think Chelsea have a lot of work to do in the transfer market, but I think they have enough quality in their current ranks to beat Everton fairly comfortably. On to Sunday, and we'll start with the non-televised game. It is Leicester against Brentford. Brentford obviously had such a good season last season. Leicester still looking to recover from what wasn't their best. They have obviously lost Kasper Schmeichel, but have kept a hold of everyone else. I expect them to win this one, but I don't think it's going to be that easy for them. I am going to go for a 2-1 win for Leicester. Then we move on to my club for the first time, Manchester United against Brighton. Now, just 2 competitive games ago, Brighton beat Manchester United 4-0. And yes, we've made some signings, but they're not the best. In terms of an overall improvement, we will remain to be seen on that regard. Brighton have, of course, lost Cucurella and Bissouma, 2 massively key players for them. I'm going to go for 2-0 to Manchester United. That is not necessarily a prediction. That is more a demand and an expectation of my club to beat Brighton at least 2-0. With the quality that we do still have available, that should be the outcome. But I'd be lying if I said I wasn't absolutely terrified that the wheels have already come off after everything that's happened in the past week with all the Ronaldo drama and everyone going home from pre-season early and whatnot. It's worrying signs, but hopefully on the pitch they can put it right and rest ease some of my major concerns. And finally, we have West Ham up against Man City, a game that was almost incredibly pivotal in the title race come the end of last season. I think this is a really, really tough start for Manchester City, and considering how poor I thought they were in the Charity Shield, I am going to go for a slight upset. I'm not going to go for a full major upset, but I'm going to go for 2-2. The exact same scoreline it was at the end of last season. I think West Ham have done some great business. I think they're still going to be a big threat to the big clubs this year. Not necessarily in terms of challenging for position, but certainly on the pitch. I think they have got more than enough quality to hurt the big teams, and I think they are going to put an initial dent in Man City's armour at the start of the season. And that is going to be it. What I will be doing is I shall be writing all of these fixtures in the description of the video, allowing you to quickly copy and paste them down so you can then let me know in the comments what you think is going to happen. Again, drop a like if you're excited to see this series return. Share it with a friend. I'd love to get as many people involved with the prediction series as possible. And make sure that you are subscribed and ringing that bell so you don't miss any of the content coming over the course of this season. Thank you very much for watching. I'll be back soon.